Backyard Farmer is a co-production of Nebraska Public Media and Nebraska Extension. Tonight on Backyard Farmer, we'll help you attract birds to your outdoor living space and get some tips on helping trees survive drought conditions. That's all coming up next, right here on Backyard Farmer.
Welcome to Backyard Farmer. I'm Kim Todd, and it's great to be back with you as we take the next hour to answer your gardening questions. We'd love to hear from you, so dial 1-800-676-5446, and our phone volunteers will help you. Pictures and emails can be sent to byf@unl.edu for a future show. Give us as much information as you can, and make sure to include where you live. More great tips, videos, and announcements can be found on our Backyard Farmers social media pages, including Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So, Wayne, thank you for bringing those because I'm very tired of them.
Well, I thought they were timely. I guess is more my thought on this. We've been getting a lot of questions, not only with Backyard Farmer, but out in the extension offices across the state that have the unfortunate ability to deal with these. These are the Japanese beetles right here, the smaller one, and then the green June beetle. Both of these beetles are expanding range within Nebraska. One of them is a native, one of them is an exotic. As the name implies, Japanese beetles are from Japan originally, and they were originally introduced in New England in the early 1900s, so they've been slowly spreading their way west from there, and they do feed on over 300 different species of plants. So they are quite the problem. Thankfully, most of our common insecticides work well on them. The green June beetles are more of a problem as adults, feeding on overripe fruits, tearing into things that are oozing a little bit. That's what they're doing. We finally got some in Norfolk about 3 years ago. It's the first time I've started seeing them. So unfortunately, 18 years ago when I started, they were only in Kansas and just getting into Nebraska.
You're not in Kansas anymore, Wayne.
Never was.
Okay, Jeff, what is that?
Well, this cool plant. So last week I had Spanish needles, which is fun. And this week I have Catchweed bedstraw. So this is an annual. And it's actually kind of attractive, has kind of these little discreet flowers, but it's a bit of a ground cover if you want that sort of thing. And it's a native, and if you let it get out of hand, it can be a problem. But you can pull it easily and throw down some pre-emergent if you get tired of it.
And is this the one that has the little seeds?
Little tiny seeds, and then, it can kind of catch on your skin a little bit if you get too funny with it.
And I believe Fred Baxendale had a war with that on the show a number of years ago.
Did you get stuck to him?
Throwing it at each other.
No. I was going to suggest it's lots of fun to throw on the back of your kids.
Yeah.
All right, what in the world did you bring, Kyle?
Well, I thought I was going to bring some early blight of tomatoes, and then I saw something a lot cooler. Basically looked like a lobster claw growing out of the ground. Instead, what it is a lantern stinkhorn. And hopefully it comes here. It's a little bit dry now, but it's different than the normal stinkhorn that we have, that we typically see. It has these claws that are on it. And I looked for a technical name of these, and it actually is claw. But on the inside is where all of that the stinky goo will be. But these have dried up a little bit since our last rain a couple of days ago, so we don't have any of that stinky goo. But they are still attached to the egg at the bottom of this, and so that's one of the real kind of fun things. And then we actually can see it's growing another egg too. And when we cut these eggs open, sorry camera guys, but when we cut these eggs open, you can see the baby stinkhorn that is growing right inside of the egg. So what do we do about them? Really nothing. They show up, they'll be there for a couple of days and then they go away. Don't let your puppies eat them or anything like that, but otherwise just a cool thing to find in your garden.
Fun and weird.
Yes.
Okay, Scott, you always bring an interesting plant.
Yeah, this is square stem monkey flower, or sometimes it goes by lavender monkey flower. It is a native perennial. It can be found here in the Midwest. And what's really nice about this plant, it's kind of like the backup singers up the garden. It's a low plant. It grows maybe 18, 24 inches tall, but it likes wet location. So we have it down by our water spout. So if you have a neighbor that likes to water too much or a space that just gets a lot of water, you can plant it. We've also found our neighbor cut down a tree. So we went from shade to sun in a location, and it's still thriving in the full sun. I am going to move it this year just because it doesn't look too happy. But lavender monkey flower, it's something that you might want to try in the garden. Super cute, easy to grow, and likes water.
Excellent. Thank you much. All right, Wayne, first question comes to you from Syracuse. Leaves on 1 out of 3 tomatillo plants developed these raised, wrinkled surfaces. Any idea what is the cause?
Well, we conferred and all agreed that you've got some herbicide injury going on with those, and I don't think this is the right picture.
I don't think this is the right picture. I think this is the milkweed.
This is the one that follows. Yeah, there we
the
go.
tomatillo.
There's the tomatillo. You can
tomatillo.
see the bubbling and rippling in the middle. That could be confused with viral infection, but if you look at the very tip of that, it's stretched out and elongated with it's streaking, and that's a little more indicative of that growth regulator herbicide exposure.
All right, so now we have 2 pictures from Underwood, Iowa, and this is milkweed. They look amazing, but what is on these? An egg of some sort?
Well, they've got several things going on here. You had a lot of aphids on there at one point, which are the gray, the tan things that are left. Those are the mummies from the parasitic wasps that have gone to town on those aphids. And then the little things on stalks are all hatched green lacewing eggs. And in that first picture, if you look really carefully at the yellow spot, that's actually an aphid in the jaws of a little tiny green lacewing larva. So it's down there in that bottom, as you look at it, left-hand corner, that's where that is. And so you've got the circle of life happening right there on that milkweed.
Fun. And your next one, I do believe, is also a circle of life. This was on a celebrity tomato plant. What are the egg/rice structures?
For all the movie alien fans out there, this is the real world inspiration right here. These are all parasitic wasp cocoons, and those larvae that have developed on the inside of that caterpillar. They've come out, and out of those cocoons will emerge a new wasp to go find more caterpillars.
All right, fun and creepy. From Tilden, Wayne, something is eating or creating holes on the leaves of his rose bushes. Any ideas on this one?
This is classic rose slug damage right here. And I'm from that area, and what I see most of the time is bristly rose slug. There's 3 different species you can find, but mostly I see bristly. And really the hose is your best friend on this because they cannot crawl back up on the plant. So hose them down. You're probably a little late right now. They do like to hide on the underside of the leaves.
Excellent. All right, Jeff, 2 pictures here. He saw yellowing lawn turf, 1 by 3, easily rolled up the turf, no roots in the soil. Bare soil was flat. It's in constant shade. What he really wants to do is plug his sprinkler head and reseed in this little area. I think we have 2 pictures of kind of what's going on here.
Right. You know what I really think they should do is move the stone edging there along the sidewalk, get rid of the grass altogether. They have heuchera in there, expand the perennial bed. I think they'd be happier instead of trying to grow grass in a shady spot. So
Right. Give it up.
Give it up, go for the perennials.
All right. You have 3 pictures from Central Lincoln. She says that their yard looks like this: nutsedge, crabgrass, nimblewill, clover. It's full sun, it's irrigated. They want to control the weeds so they can reseed this fall.
Sure. I think right now you could go ahead, well, based on the temperature, so, we're talking about 100 degrees here the next 3 or 4 days, so you might want to wait a week or so. But you can go in there with a Mesotrion product to take care of the Nimblewill, some sedge hammer, sedge killer product to take care of the sedge grasses. The crabgrass I wouldn't worry about too much. Maintain your mowing, keep things mowed so we don't produce any more flowers. And then as things cool off in a month or so, you can go in, aerate, overseed, and you should be good. I think the lawn looks pretty good. You have a few weeds, but you're doing great.
All right, excellent. One picture from Omaha. She has a lot of spreading violets in her flower beds and in the turf.
Yeah. So this is another one that we're going to want to wait on applying a herbicide right now because of the temp. But you will want to use a product with tricloper in it. And then you can carefully either use the glove method, putting a fabric glove over your rubber glove and kind of painting that on, or very carefully spot spraying that. But the tricloper will handle the violets.
All
and you
right.
might have to do a couple applications.
Thanks, Jeff. 3 pictures for you. This is Amsonia blue ice from Omaha. Looks like a fungal disease to her. The leaves are abnormal, purple splotches. The lactose is bleeding out. The plants are croaking, and she also sent a picture of one plant that's healthy as a horse.
Yeah, and it's always fun when you look up a plant you don't previously know, and all you see is it's very resistant to diseases and does not get very much. There is a Marsanina leaf spot, so those can cause some of those black splotches on those. What I'm actually wondering, though, is if there's not something lower down going on. If it's a root issue, and that root issue is causing, there's not as much moisture going to that leaf, something I really don't know. I would love to see a sample, see if I could try to figure it out, though.
All right. One picture also from Omaha. This is hollyhock plants with yellow spots.
That's Hollyhock Rust, and it's pretty common. It hits not only hollyhocks, but we also see it on a lot of our kind of the mallows. And so what do we do about it this time of year? Well, once we see it on the hollyhocks, it's really too late to be spraying anything. You could remove those heavily infected leaves to reduce the inoculum. As far as next year goes, the big thing will be trying to control the weedy mallow that is most likely in the region, because mallow is actually the preferred host of that rust.
All right. And one picture from North Sioux City, South Dakota. She found this in planters, and she wants to know, is this flower pot parasol?
It is. You're lucky. It's so beautiful. I found last time I talked about this, somebody told me it has another name called the plant pot dapperline, which I think is just a lot more fun than flower pot parasol. So yes, you have some plant pot dapperlines. Enjoy.
Okay. 3 pictures, Scott, from Wayne. He took our advice and he had a soil sample done to figure out what is wrong with this oak. He's wondering how to interpret the results and then what should he do?
It's really important, that soil test, because what it's showing us is that it has a pH of a 7.7, so it's slightly alkaline, but it also has plenty of iron in the soil. Probably really can't see that well on the TV. But what you might want to do is, chlorosis can be caused by waterlogged soils, alkaline soils, or root damage. So you can also aerate underneath the tree to help relieve compaction. You could try to put down some sulfur to lower the pH, but that's a long commitment. It could take 3 to 5 years for that to work. But it's really important to have that test so that way you're not adding something that you don't need.
Great. 2 pictures on this one. This is Quickfire Fab hydrangeas. This is Johnson Lake. They've been doing well, but one wilted and the others are fine.
With wilting plants, too much water and not enough water can show up exactly the same. Hydrangeas are famous for just melting when they're in hot, full sun. Hopefully it's rebounded, but make sure that you're not overwatering. Stick your finger in the ground before you water.
All right, and one picture from Papillion. She pruned this Veronica once, and she wonders, can she do it again? Because
Yes,
yeah.
cut it back. It will make it look a little bit neater, but go ahead and trim it off.
All right, great, thanks. Well, it's been a while since we've seen our favorite wildlife specialist, but tonight Dennis will give us some great tips on attracting and feeding birds around your home. Here's Dennis to tell us more.
So Nebraska is home to many birds, some that migrate through and some that are residents. And as we take up land, cutting down trees and getting rid of dead trees, we're not leaving much places for them to nest and have reproduction. So birding and having birdhouses around is extremely important for this biodiversity that we need in Nebraska. One species that's across the whole state that can take advantage of a house is our wrens. Wrens have this beautiful little song, as you can hear them in the background, and they will nest easily in a box. A box for a wren should be about approximately this size with a 1-inch hole. It's not the size that makes that much difference, but the 1-inch hole. This was just put up in April, and a pair of wrens laid eggs in here, and they're starting to fledge their young. And the nice thing about wrens, they're not as bothered by us. So we can sit back on our deck, maybe 20 feet away, and see them. Another one that we can go see is the tree swallows. We have a lot of swallows. We have cliff swallows and we have barn swallows, but we also have tree swallows. In their houses, the hole will be a bit bigger. Or if you're going after the barn swallows, you just want to put a platform under the eave of your house or barn or shed, and they will build a mud nest in that location. If you put this up where you want them to build before they come back in the beginning of April, then they won't be building on your lights or things like that. They'll go for it. All you need is 2 boards that are together like this with a small space, and they'll put the mud on there. By having these birds, we're building our biodiversity. They eat insects, a lot of them. Some will eat seeds and disperse those seeds, so we have proper dispersion of plants across our prairie and across our landscape. They take care of a lot of insects. It keeps the insects in check. So no, will they get rid of all the mosquitoes or all the midges? No, but they will cut them down tremendously. And then their defecation is high in nitrates and high in phosphates. So that white stuff you see, their defecation, is actually fertilizing the ground below. It's not hurting anything, it's just fertilizing, and it's an important part of being part of our natural ecosystem. Plus, there's a cornucopia of different stores that sell birdseed and sell the bird houses. Whether you're in Lincoln, Omaha, Grand Island, or Scotts Bluff, these stores, sometimes they're part of a bigger store, like a farm store, or sometimes they're standalone, small mom and pop local stores that you should frequent. And they will help you with these boxes and with the seed to feed them.
We love talking about beautiful plants, insects, and fungi on our show, but placing those feeders and houses for those colorful birds can really make your home landscape complete. All right, Wayne, one picture from Lincoln. Bagworms on a honey locust. He's removed all he can reach. What are his treatment options now?
Now, well, you missed the prime window when they were small, but if they're still actively feeding, products containing carbaryl will still work because that's an ingestion insecticide, and since they're feeding, they will get exposed. Stay away from the contact insecticides because just the little tiny ends of the feed are grasping and the bulk of that insect's in the bag, so you won't be able to get them that way.
All right, 2 from Omaha. What kind of caterpillar is this? She doesn't mind if it munches on the Baptisia if it turns into a good guy.
It is one of our native moths. I'll start there. It is a Genista broom moth, and Baptisia is one of the common host plants for this particular moth. So I would call it a native good guy.
All right, 2 pictures on the next one also. This is tiny little green caterpillars on coneflower blossoms. They eat their way through the seed head, and she's wondering what they are.
Most likely, it's kind of hard because you don't get the head end of these things, but it's most likely blackberry looper. Don't let the name fool you. They will eat on other flowers as well.
All right, so that was Powwow Wild Berry Coneflower, maybe, which is actually the name of one.
Maybe they know more than we think.
Okay, Jeff, 2 pictures for you, and this is a viewer who is trying to establish Little Blue and some wildflowers. He wants it to be native, but this is Lady's Thumb.
See, I think it's Pennsylvania smartweed.
Do you?
So I was looking at and the two of them are
Very similar.
very, very similar. And there's one description of hairs on a stem sheath. And so looking at that, there were no hairs on these pictures. So regardless, they both do the same thing. They're attractive, they're native, they flower, they produce 20,000 seeds per plant. So you may enjoy them maybe while they're flowering, and then pull the plants before they produce their seed.
All right, 2 pictures on this one. This is a spaghetti-looking vine has
I love
invaded.
this plant.
I know
love
you
it.
do. I know you
love
do.
it.
I told him that you would love this one. Go right ahead.
So this is Daughter, so it's a parasite. I mean, it's so cool. I love this plant. So anyway, congratulations that you have it. If you're worried about it, you're going to want to cut below where it's attached to the plant down, like a quarter, half an inch below that point. Get rid of it. You're not going to want to compost it or put it anywhere. Put it in the garbage. And then if you have a serious problem, then you're going to want to make sure that you're using some pre-emergent, just like your regular crabgrass pre-emerge will work in that area.
All right.
So it's a great plant. Congratulations. It's fun.
2 pictures from Fremont. This has been a little bit of a stumper for us, but he's let it go as much as he could. And it's several years old. 1 stem, I think we have 1 picture of the stem that's about ready to flower.
Yeah, and I think that's an aster. I think it's the white panicle aster. So again, I think it's one that it can be weedy. So I would pull it and pre-emerge and keep doing that.
Right, yeah, keep doing that.
Right.
All right, 2 for you, Kyle. This is a Lincoln viewer. Harvested garlic in the fall of 25. It's a music variety from 25. The bottom is music from a seed order. They're grown next to each other. But now he's seeing these streaking. He's wondering, is this virus?
I don't think so. That said, Denora, I would need to see a lot more of the plant really to have an idea. So curious what the top of the plant looked like. It kind of sounded like they looked very similar and kind of healthy above ground. But what I think this is just garlic skin blotch. And so there is a fungus, Embolisia alii, that causes this purely cosmetic injury. So I would imagine that once you peel back that skin, underneath those clothes will look just fine. And so what do we do about this? There's really not a ton that you can do. It likes wetter springs. And so we had a fairly wet spring last year, another wet spring this year. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what's going on here.
All right, thanks, Kyle. 2 pictures on this one. This is tomato plants with curl leaves, stunted growth, no fruit. They're in the city. She's ruled out herbicide contamination. They're in raised 4x8 beds. Some are fine, the other plants are not.
Yeah, you're not going to like when I say this, but I think this is herbicide. The way that the way that the leaves are distorted and twisted, that's just not something that we typically see with any of our common viruses of tomato. You say that you've ruled out the herbicide injury. It's really hard to do. A lot of these products, they can move half a mile, especially if we're doing these applications when it's really hot. Other thing is maybe we have some contaminated mulch that got into the bed. And if we're seeing this injury occur throughout the entire year, that low level of herbicide could be causing this. So is it herbicide? Is it a virus? Honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter. They're not producing. They're all curled up and starting to die. I would just get rid of those plants. I'd be happy to test them to see if it is a virus, but I think it's herbicide.
All right, thanks, Kyle. One picture from Grand Island. He is wondering what causes these spots on his cukes and how he should treat them.
Yeah, so I think this is Septoria leaf spot. If you zoom in really close, you'll see some kind of black pimples or freckles on the inside of those spots. And those are the fungal, that's actually the fungus growing inside of it. Typically it's not bad enough to require require a fungicide application. That said, a product containing copper would work pretty well, or something that contains chlorothalonil would work. The other thing is just hand removing those leaves that are really infected is going to do a lot, and then make sure you're watering at the base of the plant, not that overhead watering that's going to splash those spores.
Great. All right, Scott from Ogallala. Dakota Pinnacle Birch, 12 feet tall, very healthy last year. This year had buds early, the top is dead. He's wondering whether it will leaf out again. And if not, should he remove and plant something else?
No, it's not going to leaf out. Winter damage, that late frost freeze just really did a number. If you have patience, you could cut it back. It could cut out all the dead. There is a chance that you could develop a new leader, but that's going to take a commitment on your part. Or the easier part is just take out and replace.
All right. From Southeast Lincoln, they had a Labrador puppy. They are noted for eating things and pottying on them. And this is his arborvitae and his neighbor's fence, which were annihilated. He's really wondering about the damage to the arborvitae.
Prune out the damage. With the urine, it's just those branches won't come back. So just go ahead, take it out, and you can just really water those areas really good to help bleach out any of the urine, the salt from the urine.
All right, and 2 pictures on this one. This is from Sioux City. He's wondering, is this 9-bark a goner? Should he move it, or will it turn into a skinny 9-bark tree?
At this point, it's just going to be easier to take out and start over. And while you're doing it, maybe take those rocks out and put in wood chip mulch.
All right, good idea. Well, fresh herbs make your meals taste better. Here's Terry to tell you about one of our All-America selections in the Backyard Farmer Garden.
This week in the Backyard Farmer Garden, we're going to start looking at more of our All-America selection winners. We're going to look at the Basil Piedmont. This is a newer variety of basil, really disease resistant. So especially to the downy mildew, which seemed to be kind of an issue with some basils a few years back. It's very vigorous, very dense, very bushy, and it has a very strong basil aroma to it. So pretty nice, short internodes, so lots of leaves on this. So if you're gonna be making pesto or anything like that, this is gonna be really a great addition to your culinary repertoire. It's only gonna get to be about 24 inches tall. So this is one that will work really well in containers. And like I said, it is both downy and powdery mildew and fusarium tolerances. So one that if you've been having issues with some diseases, this might be a good one. It's a very close relationship to the Emerald Towers, which is the one that we've been growing quite a few years in the Backyard Farmer Garden. So stop by the Backyard Farmer Garden this week to check it out.
Thanks, Terry. It's now time for the social media question of the week. Rachel Flannery from Papillion sent in a question on Facebook about her candy apple Ito peony. She planted it in May on the west side of her house. The plant started struggling, so she moved some of the mulch away from the base and trimmed the wilted leaves off. We'll bring in Scott to help us with this one. So Scott, what are you seeing that are issues here with this?
I'm starting to think that this might be a little bit too much water. We may have loved the plant to death. The plant is in clay soil. Looks like it's a newer construction type of situation, and that has the potential to really retain that moisture. The moisture meter is a nice little tool to have, but they're not always the most accurate. Sticking your finger in the ground to about that 1/2 inch to inch is the best way to actually measure. What we could do is just kind of wait and see. It might come back, it might not. If it comes up from the root system, it might not be true to type. It might be a grafted type situation where we have a different flower, but all we could do is wait.
And again, it might be sitting in water too if she's watering every other day. So that's unfortunate. We do love our plants to death sometimes.
Yes, we do.
All right. You want to be our social media question of the week? Just add your pictures and questions in the comments on one of our Facebook posts. Now it's time to take a short break. Coming up, we've got the lightning round, the plant of the week, and the weekly weather forecast. We will be right back. Welcome back to Backyard Farmer. Coming up later in the show, we'll hear about some good strategies to help your trees survive drought. You can still phone in your questions to 1-800-676-5446. Send us those pictures and emails to byf@unl.edu for a future show. And right now it is time for the lightning round. Scott, no location. Is there any reason to not keep catnip in your garden for all the pollinators?
It can just self-seed, but it's a good plant, so if you like it, keep it.
All right, from Ceresco, can this viewer still plant their green beans and expect to get a crop this fall?
Give it a go. Why not?
Speaking of beans, 2 weeks ago, this viewer planted provider beans in planters that were facing north. Then the next day it was 93 degrees and all the leaves crisped. Is there any hope?
Probably not. We had some really intense heat, so maybe start over.
All right, blemished cucumbers, they were okay on the inside. Is it okay to eat them?
Yes, it should be fine.
One viewer had from the same seed packet, one smooth cuke and one prickly one. Is that just a seed goof?
It could be a seed goof, but plants do what they want to do, so.
All right, nice job. Okay, let's see. Kyle, do you want turf or do you want hort? Or do you want path?
Just give me a mixture. Let's make it exciting.
Ooh, round robin.
Yeah.
Round robin.
Okay, from Lincoln. Goldenrod stems are black at the soil line and then they're falling over.
Easily could be Phytophthora. Does that a lot.
Any cure?
No, get rid of it. Phytophthora is called the plant destroyer for a reason. So
All right.
They're done.
Lincoln, a horse chestnut hardly has any leaves left from the rust. Treat now or next year?
There's nothing you can do at this point, so next year problem.
A pear was planted 2 months ago and the leaves are shriveling. Is that fire blight?
No, it's probably a pear that was planted when it was hot and is thirsty.
From Plattsmouth, any disease issues of impatiens that would affect them in containers?
We'll see botrytis, we'll see virus issues. There can be quite a few.
There is a yellow mosaic-like blotch on her hibiscus leaves. Is there a mosaic virus of some sort on hibiscus?
There, in fact, is a hibiscus mosaic virus. So that could be what you're dealing with. We're not clever namers in the pathology world.
All right, Jeff.
Okay.
Omaha. The neighbor's zoysia is coming in, creeping in. Is there any possible way to keep it from coming?
Well, yes, you could go with a spade and along the lot line and keep cutting it. So it'll be, it's just going to be a forever job.
From Overton, is fawn tall fescue a good variety?
I think it's a great variety. It's really drought tolerant. It does really well for us. We use a lot of it on campus, so unirrigated areas, really good.
Is Q4 available to homeowners?
I believe it is, yes. Or very similar mixes are out there.
All right. Will sedge ender or sedge hammer work on nutsedge now?
Yes, it'll work on nutsedge now.
This is Lincoln. Why is there clover in one small corner of his yard by the drive and the sidewalk?
It's probably compacted soil, not good on fertility, so they can aerate and fertilize here in a month.
All right. Will turf renovation start early due to our weird weather?
Temperature will be the issue. I would still wait until the last week of August, assuming things have cooled down and we've had some rain.
All right. Wayne.
Yes.
From Wahoo, how should diatomaceous earth be applied to a garden?
According to labeled directions. Sorry, but that's the correct answer.
That was good. All right. I think you win just based on that answer. South Bend, hot, dry forecast. Would we expect a grasshopper invasion?
If it continues and you had high enough populations in the non-kept areas, yes, they will move into the moister, more lush areas.
All right. Are katydids harmful to hostas and other garden plants?
Typically, no, but we do have some meadow katydids that will feed on fruits such as my blackberries.
Okay. From Sioux City, how do we control blister beetles?
Ooh, that's a fun one. Blister beetles, same thing, carbaryl type products work well. Anything with permethrin will work well as well. Follow label directions.
From Brady, will the black walnut caterpillar attack Carpathian walnuts?
I believe they will. Should be any walnut that they will get into.
Excellent. Let's see, did we have a winner?
I had a point that did not get scored.
Too bad. Jeff won.
There you go, Jeff.
Hi.
Finally,
Well, if you're looking for a hardy perennial that stays where it's planted and attracts pollinators in droves, pay attention to our next feature. Here's Jake Sittner from Tailored Landscapes for this week's Plant of the Week.
This week's Plant of the Week is Blue Fortune Hyssop. We're down at the Lead Lodge in Nebraska City, and when I was down here with my family, I couldn't help but notice the mass planting that they had. I use Blue Fortune Hyssop as a substitute for Russian sage. What I like about it is it doesn't meander, it doesn't wander, it's a bunch plant. So, you can plant a single one, it'll stay about 3 feet by 3 feet. If you plant 5 of them together, you get what we see here. It's a pollinator dream. This is one of probably 10, 15 plants that I plant. And as soon as I plant it, it's got pollinators on it. So it's great for attracting more species to your yard. It blooms from about mid-July, maybe early July, all the way through to the first frost, but man, you can't beat it. Hardiness scale, it's probably a 7 out of 10, but plant it and enjoy it. Over to you, Gannon.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I think the key word for this week is toasty. Friday should be relatively mild with highs in the 80s east of Kearney. Over the weekend, the western half of the state should get well into the hundreds, with the hottest temperatures likely up by Shadron. The heat index will also be a significant concern through the early part of next week, but after that, it should return to relatively near normal. The precipitation map for this week looks great, however, take it with a grain of salt. The storms today and tonight will account for most of what's shown on screen. As we settle into more of a summertime pattern, this seems to be our last widespread precipitation event. And that's your weekly weather forecast. Back to you guys.
Great things happening in the gardening world. The Lincoln Iris Society Rhizome Sale and Auction, Saturday the 25th. Our second one is the Night in Bloom at Kimmel Orchard and Vineyard, Saturday, August 1st. Our third one is also Iris. This is Greater Omaha Iris Society Rhizome Sale, Saturday, August 2nd. So fun things. All right, from Trainer, Iowa, one picture, a peach tree. What can they do in the future to stop the beetles? What is the stuff you put down to kill the larvae?
The fuzzy plant hood horror is going on here. So here's the thing. If you're going to try and do grub control for Japanese beetles, it has to be more than just your yard, because they will feed on a wide variety of grass roots, just like our normal grubs. So you have to do area-wide. So you're going to have to convince all your neighbors to do the same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Not good. Two pictures from Columbus, two trees that have gotten holes in them turn brown, fallen off.
Oh, this is the same thing as the last
Yes,
picture. It's
it is.
Japanese beetles, just not without the green June beetle mixed into it. That's what's going on. Unfortunately, due to a landscape professional in Oregon, we can no longer use any systemic products on linden trees. So you're kind of stuck.
Right, and they'll recover, probably.
Hopefully.
Right, one picture from Parker, Colorado. What is this, and do they attack evergreens or maples?
So this is a 10-line June beetle, and the adults do feed on tree foliage. However, it's usually not enough to cause issues.
All right, from Omaha, how do you control these beetles on the sunflowers?
Plant health, because as soon as they start oozing something, these are going to come in, they're going to be after that sap oozing out, and they're going to enlarge the holes and then enlarge the wounds. And then Kyle's friends move in, and it's just a giant party happening. And if you healthy plants are really the best way to keep this from happening.
All right, and two pictures from Union. So multiple adult Colorado potato beetles and some larvae, and this was on buffalo burr.
Yes, it's actually one of the original host plants of Colorado potato beetle. They had a host switch from potato, which is actually from South America, not North America. And so when we started growing potatoes up here, they thought, oh, that sounds nice too. And so they went over there. And I would definitely control the buffalo burr in the area around if you're gardening potatoes.
All right.
It keeps the population down.
Three pictures from Hickman, Jeff. So these grasses are invading his buffalo grass. How do they control it? He's been using mesotrione, all sorts of things. He did use glyphosate. It took care of that and the buffalo grass.
You know, everything that he said in his questions, he's doing everything right. So he needs to just stick with it. And I think my experience with buffalo grass is it does kind of go in cycles. You'll have several good years when you'll have a really good stand, things go well for you. Then you have some years where it thins out a little bit. You can, make sure you're fertilizing at the right time, making sure we don't have any compaction issues, but just kind of keep on with the program. You're doing great.
All right, three pictures from Blair. They have a wonderful backyard oasis where they spend most of the time. That's a great picture.
Yeah.
But then they started getting grass in mock strawberries in the plants around the pond. They dug up all the grass. The mistake was not putting anything down to keep it from coming back.
I really think they have nutsedge issues, and the description of digging things up and it coming back worse the second time really kind of is consistent with that. So again, as things cool off, there's some good nutsedge products out there that you could use to carefully apply that and making sure you follow the label because you're around a body of water there. So.
All right, and two pictures from Utica. He's got 3 volunteer grasses in his backyard that was a pasture from 1880 until 1960. So he's got smooth brome, which he knows, and downy brome, which he knows, and then he's got this third one. He's never seen any sort of inflorescence, but it spreads everywhere.
I think he has Nimblewill, and he's got like a world-class case of it. So, and again, so this is one that you're going to want to treat with mesotrione, a tenacity product. Again, I'd wait a little bit, but as we get into August, it'd be a good time to treat it.
All right, thank you, Jeff. 2 from Elm Creek, Kyle. So this is Montmorency cherry trees. These lesions have appeared. You can see his cherries. He's got deer fencing around them. No insects noted. And then the leaves were a little odd to all of us, I think.
Yeah, I think insects can be hard to find sometimes. As I was looking at these, it looks like maybe there is some fungus moving on, but I showed it to Wayne and there was a slug.
Pear slugs.
Pear
So
slug.
it's very similar to rose slugs. They just look like a little wet green spot on the leaf, like a little bird dropping kind of almost, and they would be hard to spot. And they would do that exact kind of damage.
And probably nothing to worry about.
No, most of the time it's not an issue. If you do catch them early, again, the hose.
Great. All right, 3 from Valley. Aspen, 9 years old, brown spots and fading leaves. So east side of the garage, any thoughts on what's doing this? And then you've got one more picture that's also an aspen out of Omaha, and it's a 3-year-old tree.
Yeah, so this first one, those black spots, very characteristic of Marsanina leaf spot, which we see on aspens. That looks like a hard spot for a tree to grow, if I'm gonna be honest. That close to the tree, or that close to the house. So, but just keep it watered and it should be okay. This other aspen that's coming up that has just some yellow leaves, branches with some yellow leaves. With that one, I wonder if there's not a canker issue that's going on closer to the trunk, some sort of localized drought injury. Nothing. I wouldn't be too worried about that. You could prune those branches out, or just wait until next year, see how they look.
All right, and 2 pictures from Glenwood, Iowa. Should this tree come down? It's over the driveway in the house.
My experience, if you are having a debate of whether or not a tree should come down, that probably means that a tree should come down. Mentioned that it's lost some branches. It's always easier to take a tree down now than it is in a couple of years.
All right, 3 pictures for you, Scott. This is South Lincoln. It's a dwarf Tina crabapple. Wondering what's going on. They've been watering it a lot, leaves curling. What do we think on this?
It's a new plant in the ground. It's stressed out. We've had hot weather, and the leaves are going to curl upwards. That's very typical. Just continue to provide good plant health care.
All right, 2 pictures on the next one. This is northern red oak. Spade planted 3 years ago outside Ashland. Been doing all sorts of things to try to get this tree to be healthy, and then we have these curled leaves.
The tree is stressed. Big trees that are spaded could take anywhere from 4, maybe 5 years to get through transplant shock. So that could be a compounding. This does look like herbicide drift. Try not to fertilize because that can make the situation worse.
All right, 2 pictures from Palmer. Why is their honey locust turning yellow and brown? They've had high winds and they did lose a large branch.
With wind damage, a lot of times we have breaks or cracks that we can't see, or internal damage, so this could be the case. You might have our arborist come out and just take a really good look at the tree.
All right, thank you, Scott. Western Nebraska has had a rough time with very little moisture this past fall and winter, and now some parts are in severe drought. That can take a toll on your landscape, and here's Lauren Keefe from the Nebraska Forest Service with tips to help keep your plants alive.
This past winter was the 2nd warmest and 4th driest on record statewide since 1901. Scottsbluff saw its warmest December, February, and March, as well as its 2nd driest February in the past 25 years. While trees typically go dormant during the winter months, unusually warm and dry conditions can disrupt those natural cycles, causing stress and weakening their immune systems. Drought can cause roots to die back, reducing the amount of water and nutrients that they can absorb. During the summer, trees continue to transpire or sweat, even when soil moisture is limited and their roots are unable to absorb enough water to meet their needs. Over time, this imbalance can lead to dehydration and further stress. The best way to help trees withstand this stress is to keep them as healthy as possible year-round. Maintain a thick layer of mulch over the root zone. Schedule regular deep watering, especially during those warm spells. Protect trees from wildlife damage, and avoid unnecessary pruning. When planting new trees, try to choose species that are drought tolerant and less prone to canker diseases. So when it's hot out, make sure to be giving your trees a little extra love.
Thanks, Lauren. It may take more than proper watering to keep those trees alive during hot, dry weather. Those tips will give your trees the best chance of survival until better conditions arrive. From Underwood, Iowa, Wayne saw this guy on the window, very large, but he thinks it's a fly. What is this?
He thinks correctly. This is a Midas fly, one of our larger fly species. Nothing to be concerned about.
Fun. 2 pictures of a 14-year-old burning bush. You didn't see any pests, but yeah.
Oh, yes. They are teeny tiny little pests. These are spider mites going to town. Both pictures. One of them, you can see the webbing on those leaves very nicely. Treat it. I would not mess around with spraying off with a hose at this point. It's already shown enough damage. Go for a good insecticide that's good for mites.
All right, read the label.
As always, read the label.
And
follow
spray
label
and spray and
directions.
spray.
And you'll probably have to repeat in 10 to 14 days because these will not kill the eggs for most, the ones that are available to homeowners.
All right, from Fremont. She found this on the siding in the evening. What is it, and should they be concerned?
It is a cottonwood borer. Don't worry, your home is safe. They do tend to get into suckers of the larger cottonwoods. That's more of their favorites. So again, nothing to really be too concerned about.
Unless your siding is cottonwood.
It's dead and no. They like life.
From Nebraska City, Jeff. So she's wondering what this plant is.
It's Tree of Heaven. Yeah, so it's that's a pull, dig up and pull. Don't let that get started.
Yeah, and dig and pull.
Yeah.
And dig and pull.
Yeah.
And dig and pull.
Well, I think you can do it one time, it'll be fine.
From Ord, 2 pictures. She's wondering if this ivy is harmful to the tree, and is it invasive? It does seem to be spreading into the turf. And I think we have a second picture. It's the English ivy.
Yeah, it's English ivy. And so I don't know if it's necessarily harmful to the tree, but you know, I think I want to keep it under control a little bit. If you have it in a bed as a ground cover, that would be fine. I would just keep it in there. So cut it back, that sort of thing.
Okay, and one picture from Lincoln. She's not sure what this plant is.
That's woodbine. So again, it's, if you don't want it, then it's the cut it back and treat it with a stump killer. If you do want to keep it, then just keep it under control.
All right, thank you very much. 4 pictures on this one from Cass County. Murray, tree is 50 to 60 years old. A few years ago, windstorm broke and then found these ginormous mushrooms at the base. What are they, and should they be concerned? She said the big one is as big as a basketball.
I would believe it. So normally we've got these are great pictures, but not able to figure out what it is. I think this mushroom actually grew over something and kind of fell over on itself. It's some sort of polypore, most likely Ganoderma, maybe Ganoderma lobatum. But regardless, if it is a Ganoderma, Ganodermas are wood decayers. This is a tree that already has sustained some major damage, has lost some large branches. The comment I made earlier, if you're thinking about removing a tree, you've probably already made the decision in your mind and take it out before it falls on something that you don't want it to fall on.
Have you ever seen a shroom as big as a basketball?
I've seen shrooms larger than basketballs,
Oh my
actually.
goodness.
There are some puffballs that can be like 3 feet in diameter. It's insane.
Okay, from Hamburg, Iowa, Kyle, growth at the base of this tree appears to be a fungus. 2 pictures. He said it's hard, not as hard as wood, and he's wondering if the dark brown, I think on this next picture, is spores. Does it come from the root, and can it be removed?
So it is coming from the root. It's one of our Xylaria fungi. The dead man's fingers is a close relative. I don't think this is the dead man fingers fungus, but that's what's going on here. The white stuff is most likely another fungus that has colonized the original fungus, so that's kind of cool. What can you do about it? You can dig it out if you want, just kind of chip it away from the roots. That said, it's going to stay there, it's going to come back. It will be a friend of this tree for the remainder of this tree's life.
Okay. Scott, one picture from southwest of Lincoln. These secretions on her spruce cones, and the tree is healthy, 33 years old. She's wondering, is this some damage? She's taking good care of the tree.
No, it sounds like a really good, healthy tree. Cones can secrete resin as a deterrent to predators. So it could be just that natural defense system for squirrels, or sometimes they just do it because they can, but your tree looks fine.
Well, and again, she's been spraying it for
Right.
webworm and
Yeah.
doing all the right things for insects. So good on her for having a spruce that looks nice. All right, from Kozad, he had a lot of this plant, very little this year, 1.5 feet tall. He has never had it, so he's thinking it comes in by seed, forms clumps, needs
Right.
glyphosate. Should he be killing this, or what is this?
This is world milkweed. It's one of our native milkweeds. It can be a little bit weedy in an agriculture setting where it can be a potential hazard to livestock. In the garden, not so much the case, but it's a really nice plant. It's super cute, really needle-like foliage. You might want to keep it. It can be fun.
All right, from west of Henderson, she saw this growing in a ditch. What is it?
It's common mullein. It's a plant that almost looks alien-like because of that really large flower stalk. Yeah, it's a weed.
Definitely a weed,
Yeah.
a biennial weed, and a weedy weed. All right, one picture, and this is fun. He sent a whole lot of beautiful pictures. He's wondering, is there a place in Omaha that would take tropical plants before the growing season is over, and is there a way to propagate them?
Social media is going to be your friend. You can advertise on Facebook, all sorts of things. I believe there has been some plant rescue. You can even contact some of maybe assisted living facilities where you could donate those plants. Propagating, whole nother story. I don't think we have time to really talk about that, but yes, you can propagate some of those.
All right, thank you, Scott. And that's going to have to do it for tonight's Backyard Farmer. Thank you to everyone who submitted a question and to our panel for another great show. Helping us on the phones tonight were John Cariato, Gary Bell, and Nebraska Extension educator Terry James. Next time on Backyard Farmer, we're going to hear why community forestry is so important for our urban living conditions. We'll see some good examples of that in Gehring. So good night, good gardening. We'll see you all next week, right here on Backyard Farmer.